Shot number 5 is putting the pieces together after an arrest was made in the death of 6-year-old Alana Gallagher there in Saginaw. Investigators are trying to determine if their main suspect, 17-year-old Tyler Holder, had an accomplice. Yeah, they found a letter from the suspect in his house. It was to his mother saying, "I love you and I'm sorry." Authorities believe the 17-year-old sexually assaulted and then suffocated the child, wrapped her in a body in a tarp, and then left it less than a mile from her home. Holder faces a capital murder charge for the girl, and also he faces attempted capital murder charge for reportedly shooting the officer who was issuing his warrant. Shot number 4 is seeking the death penalty. That's what prosecutors in Kaufman County are doing for a murder suspect. During a hearing for Eric Williams, they announced they want a death sentence. He and his wife Kim are accused of killing 3 people earlier this year. The victims, the former county district attorney, his wife, and the assistant DA. Prosecutors haven't said if they'll seek the death penalty for Mrs. Williams too. Now, jury selection may begin next spring with a tentative trial. That date could be scheduled for later in the year. Shot number 3.
George Zimmerman got away with murder, but you can't get away from God.
All right, a second juror from the George Zimmerman trial. Guess what? She's speaking out. Known as juror number B29, she's only revealing her first name. You saw that there, Maddie. She told ABC News the jury was initially split, and she was not the only juror who believed that Zimmerman was guilty of killing Trayvon Martin. She explains she went along with his acquittal because how the law was read to her. If there was no proof that Zimmerman killed Trayvon intentionally, she had to believe he was not guilty. Maddie is the second juror to speak about the case since the all-female jury acquitted Zimmerman earlier this month. Shot number 2 is some interesting statistics. The number of background checks the FBI did last month hit its lowest level since September 2011. The Atlantic Wire points out that background checks are a strong indicator of new gun sales. Now, the number was down 54% from December 2012, which is right after Sandy Hook. And then when the FBI did more background checks than ever before, guess what? Why the drop? Well, the Atlantic Wire points out several reasons. One is gun control. After Sandy Hook, gun sales spiked, mainly because people were concerned that the government was going to put restrictions on people not letting them own a gun. Now, they also mentioned the seasons that contributed to the data. They say the number of background checks, they actually dropped during the early summer, and then they rose during the holidays. Now, for more on the results, just go to our Facebook page. Check out facebook.com/nightcapnews. Shot number 1 has a familiar ring to it.
Hello, Moto.
From that to this. The new Moto X smartphone is expected to launch Thursday in New York with the help of their Hello Again ad campaign. The internet is buzzing about what the phone looks like, what it can do, and here are 5 things that we think you need to know that assembled the in Texas Moto X.
We know the debut of the Moto X phone is just around the corner, maybe as early as August 1st. Motorola emailed this invitation to the media. The event, a likely launch party in New York. The invitation said, "Come experience the new Motorola. No stage, no crowds." The Moto X is the first Motorola smartphone designed, developed, and engineered under the Google flag. Google bought Motorola last year for $12.5 billion. Motorola racked up a second quarter loss this year of $342 million. The Moto X is being assembled at this massive factory in Fort Worth, where 2,000 new hires are putting on the finishing touches. We asked for a quick assembly tour, but Motorola politely declined, saying it was not a good time. Maybe in a week or 2. This leaked photo is as close as it will get until launch. The Moto X buzz went from simmer to a full boil when Google CEO Eric Schmidt actually used the phone at the company's recent earnings call. The real marketing campaign hasn't even started. The Moto X reportedly will come with a $500 million advertising budget. Now for the fun stuff. The device is expected to run on Android 4.3, which was introduced this week in San Francisco, and be user-friendly with hard-to-damage Gorilla Glass, sensors to extend battery life, and a camera that activates with 2 shakes of the wrist. Price? Who knows, but many believe the Moto X will be a high-end phone for a mid-range price starting at $299. We'll probably find out August 1st.
While business is booming for Motorola, Radio Shack is seeing quite the opposite. Okay, not only did the company report low numbers in its second quarter, it also announced laying off 10 to 12 people at its Fort Worth headquarters. The layoffs included some vice presidents. The CFO said that he's leaving the company to join Planet Fitness. But it's not all bad news. Although it suffered from its second quarter, Radio Shack did mention comparable sales grew by 1.3%. That's the first positive sales report since 2010. Your bonus shot is a warning for you vitamin takers. Listen to this. The Food and Drug Administration issued a warning about Healthy Life Chemistry by Purity First B50. That's the name of them, okay? It says the vitamins contain anabolic steroids. Regulators have received 29 complaints so far. They are complaints about side effects like, for example, the complaints include fatigue, muscle pain and cramps, and even liver and thyroid problems. Women also reported unusual hair growth and missed periods. Men reported impotence and low testosterone. Officials say some people were even hospitalized, but there's been no deaths reported.
New photos coming out of the Attleboro, Massachusetts home of former football player Aaron Hernandez. These are blurry photocopies of some pictures police say show Hernandez in his living room, playing with a firearm a few hours before someone filled his pal, Odin Lloyd, with lead. About 3:30 in the morning on June 17th, someone put 5 slugs into Lloyd. Police found his body less than a mile from Hernandez's home. A few minutes later, Hernandez's home security cameras snapped some shots of Hernandez and a couple of friends. Hernandez is still wearing a white shirt. A second later, Hernandez is at his basement door. Court documents state that he appears to have a gun in his left hand. And these next 3 images seem to show Hernandez still holding the gun. Cops haven't found the murder weapon, and he says he didn't do it. Meantime, the University of Florida in Gainesville has taken his name out of the school stadium and removed his All-America brick. All in all, it's not another brick in the wall.
Several Texas students are, well, being affected by the new STAR testing, but you'll never guess just how many are being held back because of it. Plus, it's good news for the residents of West Texas. Nightcap is just getting started, so don't go away.